Welcome to NasCanucks. I'm Ben. He's Doug. We're talking about championship weekend in Phoenix. I put in the title championship weekend because I can never remember how to fucking spell Phoenix. Oops, I swore in less than a minute in. Perfect. Yep. Top three series all crowned a champion this weekend. So we got highlights from the truck race, Xfinity race, and the Cup race.
I'm going to try and stay in the show as long as I can. I'm dropping faster than Chase Elliott on the long run.
No kidding. No kidding.
Yes.
So, some pretty good racing throughout the weekend. I'm going to say it now. I'll get the rant out because it happens for all three of the series, and we had it happen in one of the three series. You know, they go, "Oh, you know, winning is everything in NASCAR." No, it isn't, because you can win every race of the year, come in second in the last race of the year, and not win the championship. I was witnessed in one of the races, kind of thing. So, trucks, we had four-way battle. Some drama early with the early favorite, John Hunter Nemechek, like
very early,
like first lap, first corner.
Something there, yeah.
Hit the wall, hit a guy, hit the wall again. I was surprised they didn't stay out. You know, I like that idea of staying out at the end of the first stage, you know, and just they should have, but they didn't. But they should have.
Mm-hmm.
They should have. Yeah, pretty good. We had Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Matt Crafton, and Sheldon Creed. No, not Sheldon Creed.
The guy that you just talked about?
John Hunter Nemechek. That's right.
That would be it.
That's the guy. By the way, sup Charles, sup Terry. It wasn't like one truck dominated the race.
No.
I mean,
I would say.
Like mm-hmm.
I don't want to call it a boring race, but post-race press conference is way better than the race, I think.
Damn straight. Yep.
But kudos to Friesen. Yeah. You know, if he would have made the final four, he would have been champ. Second place finish.
Yep. And he damn near won that race too.
Yep.
So, which was good to see. They really need to expand to two trucks to really get some resources going for that extra little push, I think, over the top. But other than that, yeah. So long story short, Ben Rhodes won the championship by doing the right thing and staying where he needed to be and this and that. And then as
finished third in the race. Chandler Smith with the win. Friesen second. Ben Rhodes finishing third to get the championship.
Right. Which, I don't know, like, I don't expect them to give them all kinds of staggeredness, you know, but how about, like, for the championship race, if you win races in the year, that's the only time those will count at the end. You know, you get 1 point per win, because even then, let's be honest, it's going to be, you're not going to have more than 5 points more than another guy. So at least that way, it's not the whole, well, I just have to finish ahead of everybody. Well, no, I got to finish at least 3 spots ahead, because those cutoff races, those scenarios are more entertaining than just, well, whoever's out front of the 4, I find. You know, and plus it does give you, you know, you earned all those wins throughout the year. You should have something going in to weigh you towards being a title list.
Yeah.
Because look what we had happen.
But if you say you have to finish 3 spots ahead, what if you finish first, you win the race, the other guy finishes second, you can't finish those 3 spots or whatever ahead of the other guy.
That's fine. You should have won more races throughout the whole season.
Oh.
You know, because that's what we had happen in Xfinity. Like, great. Daniel Hemrick will, we now know the record will be 10 second place finishes before your first win. Dale Jarrett and Daniel Hemrick holding that record. As Daniel Hemrick wins the race in order to win the title for his first career win. The guy who finishes right, well, I don't know, did Cindric finish right behind him? And I'm not, we know I'm not a Cindric fan, but Cindric won some races this year,
Mm-hmm. Can we go back to the end of the truck race for a second?
Let's go back to the end of the truck race for a second.
Post race.
Yes.
If you haven't watched it, you have to go on Facebook, YouTube, wherever, and watch the Ben Rhodes post race interview. Because I got to hear it first because I was in the truck on my way home from work, I think. Listening to it, and I heard him because it started off. He did the interview on track. Then he went with Claire B. Lang on Sirius XM radio, and credit his wife, blame his wife, do something with his wife. She handed him 4 beers. He downed those in about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you could tell that he was feeling mighty fine on the radio.
Yep.
Libation, as he called it, because he said they're very good, and
he went out. I love Bud Light.
Yes, yeah. Post that press conference complete with how the engine sounded as he was going through the gears to try and catch up to Sheldon Creed at one point.
And Creed thought he could put the move on me, but he's got nothing. I personally do say, check out the video. It's better than the audio because the fact you have that central camera and you just see his wife's hand reaching up, grabbing the beer and replacing it with a water bottle. And he clues in about 10 seconds later going, what? No.
Yeah, it was really good. But, congratulations to him, 24-year-old driver. Been around the sport in the series for like 6 years.
Yep. I was not a Ben Rhodes fan at all, but I'm more of a Ben Rhodes fan now. That press conference made me more of a fan than anything he's done in 6 years of racing. I didn't like him before. He's a little cocky, but he's a happy drunk, so I like that.
Yes. Also think it was his first time.
Seemed like it.
Yes.
Yep. He was probably puking on the backstretch at 6 a.m.
Oh, probably, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So, getting into the Xfinity race, I wonder who won that race. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I was watching a little documentary this week on how Ryan Newman almost exposed the system when he almost won the title in 2014 without winning a race.
Well, Austin Dillon did it in the Xfinity Series not too long ago. So,
yeah, I think they just got to wait a bit because Hemrick, great, congrats. He definitely earned that win.
The tough week started earlier in the week for them.
Oh yeah,
with that team. So on their way to Phoenix, I ran into some issues.
They hit a deer.
Gone. So they had to send a backup truck to Texas to pick them up. Well, pick up the car and get that to Phoenix. I think they got there just right before inspection. Like they just made it in time.
Yeah, because it was like 7 minutes before practice opened.
Yeah.
So they were a little late getting on track. But yeah, they did have the car to beat. But again, they didn't have the best season. Just saying.
No. You know what? I'd still rather have it this way than having the winner crowned back in October, September, wherever.
No, not me.
Well, that's
like, why don't we just have the season finale at Daytona
because they have it at Phoenix
for now?
Yes,
it'll move in 2 years.
But the finish, though, you gotta feel for Austin Cindric because the way they finished their season,
yeah,
is the same way they finished the playoffs, with him leading in coming out of turn 4 and then just getting pushed
Used
out of the
up.
way.
Yep.
But
which, couldn't have happened to a better. Well, it could have happened to a better guy, Gregson. But we discussed it. Cindric was very mature in his interview post race. He interacted with the fans a bit there because they can hear it through the PA system. He's like, "Hey, you liked it, right?" And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, there you go. So if they're happy, if NASCAR is happy, then whatever." Because he's like, "See you, bitches. I'm moving on to Cup anyways."
Yes, yeah. Which I thought, with about 50 to go, he passed Hemrick, and I thought, oh, here we go again. Hemrick had that lead taken away, but again, kudos to him. He fought back, like he did come back.
To stop driving in the mirror, looking in the mirror, because when they were talking about that, he was looking up in the mirror. Every time he looked up in the mirror, he's letting off the gas. Is what was happening. Yeah. So,
but just listening to his crew chief, listening to Rogers, just kind of have to keep pumping him up the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just
Yeah.
But
and who was driving the 54 this week?
That would be young Ty Gibbs.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
No, it was John Hunter Nemechek.
John Hunter Nemechek. Rookie of the Year, Ty Gibbs wins Rookie of the Year in the Xfinity Series.
Sure. Yep. Nemechek was not happy after his race on Saturday. No. He threw a little bit of a temper tantrum. But I get it. But I don't get it. But I get it.
So, actually, speaking of the 54, let's go back to the truck race one more time.
Sure.
Did you not get that?
What?
Was I gone? Was I gone? Am I back again?
Yeah, you were perfectly clear. You went, I have something to say, and it was perfectly crystal clear. And then
Ty Dillon in the truck race. We found Ty Dillon one last time this year before going on to next year.
Yes. Yep. So that brings us into the Cup race, which for a while there, I thought Harvick was going to prove me wrong. I thought he had the car to beat, and then he just disappeared after the first stage, more or less.
Go back to Friday of the inspection. I don't know if I'm popping in and out here. Back to Friday inspection. Was the golden child picked before the race? Because 3 of the cars failed inspection 3 times, lost the car chief. The one other team that apparently couldn't get through inspection the previous 35 weeks, no issues. Just you're fine. You can just take your spot. You've been illegal, like I said, the past 35 weeks. You're good this week.
Yeah. Which Junior was asked about that on Ask Junior this week. They said, shouldn't there be more of a penalty when you failed inspection? I'm like, right. And he's like, oh, no, it's... And I'm like, okay, well, pit selection, that can be a thing. But pit roads are a lot better than they used to be, for one. But he had an idea of them starting from pit road, which was weird because he had them stopped on pit road, and when they drop the green, then they can take off and join the field. But I'd say, why don't you have to follow the pace car down pit road? If you're gonna do that,
It could, yeah.
And
You got
nobody's ever said what happens if you don't ever pass inspection. Do you still start the race? Do they just give up? You just start at the back?
well, you keep losing your car chief.
Yeah. Oh, wow. He doesn't know what his job very well because you're failing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have the most useless employee in your organization listed as the car chief. So really, it's no loss if he's kicked out.
You could say that, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's the tire changer who's the actual car chief on the team.
Yeah.
The thought.
So yeah, so like you said, Harvick was trying to be the spoiler.
Yep. Chase wanted no part of him. He was giving him like 5 lanes whenever he was. He's like, "Oh,
because I think
you're running here. I'm going to run way over here."
I think Chase knew what was coming.
Yep.
Right.
And Harvick was probably just laughing.
Oh, probably. And the JGR cars kicked in. Truex just, like Moody even said on the show, this ain't good on the radio that this ain't good for the rest of the field because it's usually when Truex checks out like this, it's going to be a stinker. And it looked like it was going to be that until we'll talk about that.
Well, and what's interesting too is it's one of those make you feel old moments is when it's getting down to crunch time and they're like, well, that wily veteran Truex out there, he's the man to beat in this situation, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, isn't he still one of the younger guys in the series? Oh, I guess not. No, right.
No, it's 2006 was his rookie year. So,
Yeah, he is one of the veterans.
But yeah, he was stinking up the show until he got in the way of leaders before. David Starr in the Carl Long owned car just
grenaded brake rotor.
300 laps down, just caused an issue with the final.
Yep.
It was a break, just start and park. But yeah.
Yep.
So that set up the restart there, and you know what? I've seen some online posts that people are going on about how Truex's crew lost him that race. I don't think so because that last stop they still had a great time. The 5 car had their second fastest stop of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say it wasn't so much they lost it as Larson's team won it.
The stop of the year. Their previous stop was their fastest stop of the year. Right? So, so that's their 2 fastest stops of the year were in their 2 last stops of the year.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, and even, and like I said, it's, they got lucky with that other caution that came out to still be on the lead lap and then be at the front of the field.
Right.
Right? Like that's for the when Anthony Alfredo did his spin.
Mm-hmm. More on him in a bit. So he may have spun himself out of a ride. But anywho, yeah. So it came down, and you know what? We know I am not a Hendrick Motorsports fan, but I am a Kyle Larson fan. I was pulling for Larson, and I think he deserved the title. He won a crap ton of races this year. So,
yeah. But still,
he was crying. He was crying.
A couple more laps, and I think Truex would have had him because Truex was catching him.
It's possible. Especially as the runs went longer, too, right? Truex's car just didn't fall off.
But the silver lining in all of this, the 1911 did finish ahead of the chosen one, the golden child.
Yep.
Mr. Chase Elliott.
And I think Harvick finished 5th in the points.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he came which is fantastic for him because he wasn't even in that second, though the second last, like the
Yeah,
final
I
8.
know. Yeah, exactly. He had checked out in Charlotte.
Yeah, so
right. So yeah, so that takes us into the off season, which we won't do any preview per se. And I think we'll wait until next week when you have better bandwidth, and we'll discuss the Busch Clash because there's charts and slide rules.
I gotta wait for the PhD to come in on that one.
Yeah. I think Caltech came up with the format. That's all I know.
Oh, I think so for sure.
But news announced approximately 5 hours ago, Anthony Alfredo is out of the 38.
Yes.
No announcement has been made on a replacement. Leading candidates are Ryan Preece, Ryan Newman, and Matty D, apparently.
I think
by some fans out there. Michael McDowell is secure in his ride with the same team.
So, yes. So, that being said, that is why I think if you look back to Twitter, now that he's gone off Twitter, if you go back to look at the way he was, I think Matty D is the front runner for that spot.
I think so too.
Because of his Twitter feed became a twin. And yeah, and not to get all political and stuff, but Matty D did go a little political. NASCAR was not happy with him.
Yeah.
NASCAR is actually not happy with that whole situation from, what was it, Talladega?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the whole thing, because everyone's kind of then putting that with the NASCAR logo. And I know Steve Phelps, I've kind of got word that NASCAR could be putting a cease and desist order to a lot of. So we'll see more on that if that does start to pop up.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned you had some news there. You mentioned
some news on we're talking about
Alfredo leaving a 9 car.
Okay, well, yeah, but to finish up the Cup stuff, not really totally Cup. SMI has Speedway Motorsports, Bruton Smith purchased the Dover International Raceway. So with that, another track which is now leaving, I want to say Pocono, I think, is the last, or did the other NASCAR itself buy Pocono?
No, Pocono is still independently owned, but it's operated by SMI, I think now.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Something like they took over the operation of it or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Mattioli still owns
it. Am I back? Yeah.
You're back.
These times the last independent track, and so the big thing that didn't come out of this whole press conference is that SMI buying Dover. Dover also owns the Nashville Speedway.
Yeah.
So SMI already owning the rights to the fairgrounds in Nashville. They want the Cup race moved from Nashville Speedway to the fairgrounds with the same owner. That makes that a bit more easier to do. So look for that possible race next year going from the Speedway to the fairgrounds. So
I've heard different.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard the Cup race will stay at the Super Speedway, but possibly moving the trucks, similar to what they do at Indy, where they incorporated IRP into the Brickyard weekend. Doing similar that way, it's a whole event. They want to do a whole hey, we got a race weekend at 2 tracks in one town, which hasn't been done, and we know SMI is huge on doing stuff that's never been done.
Yeah.
They really put the promoter in promoting.
Exactly. Yeah. So So yeah, so
Also,
like you said,
another piece of news too on that, not to do with that, but oh crap, I had it. It's gone. All right, go ahead. It'll come back. Oh, yes, the 00 out of business. Because they sold their charter.
Quinn Health, yes, Quinn Health out, and I've heard that Spire Motorsports will be purchasing that charter. So
yeah, Spire purchased it, and where they called Starcom Racing, I believe.
Yes,
is, folding. So
yeah, which was the Quinn Health car.
Yeah,
yeah. So
which he showed this weekend. He's wrecked a lot of equipment.
This year, up until this year, he didn't wreck though.
No, but he did it all this year.
So, moving into Xfinity stuff, JD Motorsports, Jeffrey Earnhardt not returning next year.
Right.
So, no longer an Earnhardt, well, except for the one race, running in a NASCAR series. And Dave Ellens will not be returning to the 9 car as the crew chief for Noah Gragson.
Mm-hmm. I think Jeffrey Earnhardt will pick up a ride somewhere.
I think so too.
Yep. Also, speaking of which, what's his name? Jay Buford drives the 48 car in Xfinity. I felt so bad for them. They've had the worst luck the last few weeks. I want to shout them out. They've wrecked a lot of equipment, and none of it is their fault. Tommy Joe Martins and Buford there in the 48. They're very much a mom and pop team. So rally
which
forward.
They are. Yeah, it's them that they are going into a partnership with SHR next year. So that should help them out as well.
Big time. Which is a way for SHR to keep a toe in the series without being in the series. Speaking of which, it sounded like Hendrick pretty much confirmed it, that Penske's Xfinity Series operation is all but done.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but SHR for the Xfinity Series though, SHR has the 98 car with Riley Hurst.
Yeah, right. Which could, barring this partnership, that Riley Hurst would be the only Ford in the field.
Yes.
Or the only factory-supported Ford in the field, we should say.
Mm-hmm. And so we know
the Siegs don't count. Although we had new Sieg in the field on Saturday. Kyle Sieg? Yeah.
No one announced yet for the 18 car with champion Hemrick moving over to where's he going again?
Colleague.
That's it, Colleague, yes. So I expect any day now, Rookie of the Year in the Xfinity Series, Ty Gibbs, to be in the 18 car.
Yeah. It's pretty much a given.
No.
He's going to be either the 18 or the 20. Because so they still got to find another driver for Gibbs for next year. All right. I was just thinking, I wonder if Penske's going to run a part-time Xfinity program, use Harrison Burton.
Possibility.
Because we've seen that in the past, because we know Wood Brothers is more or less a Penske satellite operation, but like when Menard ran for the Wood Brothers, he still ran a lot of Penske stuff, or Hornish.
Yep.
Yep.
I think I was done. Is RFK, to repeat myself, is RFK going to run his car in the Xfinity Series as well? That's still to be decided.
Yes, which I noticed Brad was already at he was at Roush Fenway today, doing his thing. Apparently, I've noticed a trend. Apparently, when you get into an ownership stake in NASCAR, they give you a fleece vest, a la Rick Hendrick, because Jeff Gordon's rocking the fleece vest all the time now, and a very white beard. I'm saying a very white beard. And there's BK today with the old sweater vest on. So, It's like, and I know, RC likes wearing them. He was the first, and then Hendrick got on board, and Roush, and apparently, yeah, fleece vests if you're into ownership.
Also, just another thing here, with him now going into ownership, a feather in his cap. Not really said, but the last 5 years, the champion of the Xfinity Series has come out of BK Racing in a truck. Got their start with Brad Keselowski.
That's it, because and that organization hasn't been around for a number of years now.
No. So I think he's great to have in ownership.
Yeah.
So
I think so too. I like Brad. He speaks his opinion.
Yeah.
For whatever bad he does good stuff too. So whatever. It's fine with me. So other than that, yeah, I'm trying. There wasn't really any other news per se. So try to think.
Yeah. No, I'm clear out of news.
Yep.
So
yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what there's potentially some big rides open in Xfinity still, being Gibbs and in theory Penske, if they decide to do something, which is if they have the backing, they'll do it.
Yeah. And
maybe forced to drive a pink car most of the year, but hey.
There's still a lot of names. So, like DiBenedetto says he's had a bunch of owners want to come in there, but we're not sure. Newman is still looking for a ride. Alfredo's now looking for a ride.
Somebody just signed with Childress for the Xfinity program.
I'm not sure. I know we've already announced Creed, and I forget the other.
Oh, maybe it was Creed. No, I think it was Creed. Yeah, I was just confirming that. That's what it was. Yeah. So we've got a few free agents out there. Ryan Newman said he'll run full-time, part-time. But then he put out flipping Twitter. He's like, I don't know about the next-gen car there. I don't know how safe it is because I haven't seen the data sheets. And everyone's like, Newman declares new next-gen car unsafe. Well, since he's married with kids now and stuff, he doesn't feel safe, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, I believe him because he's an engineer, Well, yeah, but he hasn't seen any of the data sheets, so this is just an opinion. He hasn't driven one of the cars because he's been shut out because he's a lame duck driver. And it's not like he can really pry for information since somehow Richard Childress Racing is doing the entire development, basically, of the next-gen car, for the most part. And nobody in that shop is answering Ryan Newman's calls.
Nope.
But as many answering the calls as, well, let's see, who else is doing a lot of testing for it? Tony Stewart. Can he call anybody over at Stewart Haas? Nope, burnt that bridge too.
Yep, so...
basically, unless Hendrick goes to a fifth car, Ryan has burned his bridge with every top owner in the series.
He has not driven for Gibbs yet.
He has not driven for Gibbs. That's true.
Ryan Newman to the 20 car in the Xfinity Series next year.
There we go.
Let's put that out there.
To show he can win again.
Yes. To kind of pull an AJ Allmendinger.
Right. Which I liked how AJ said that whole thing. Well, I guess I have a champion as a teammate next year, so that's something to push against. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Austin Cindric, if you're watching, start drinking. Build up tolerance.
Yep. Because in 10 years you'll be drinking a lot, as he was told.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do we have anything else?
I've got nothing. As I said, I'm about to drop faster than Chase Elliott on a long run here.
It's like you ate a belly full of Taco Bell. You're ready to drop. There we are. Lunchtime show next week. Are we evenings? Do you know? What's up, Tom? I think he said we'll see what's going on.
I think that's what I said. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, this has been NasCanucks. He's Doug, kinda. I'm Ben, sorta. And
And if you can still hear me, see you, Marcus.